Assalamualaikum, good evening. Yusuf Shukri for TVS Nightline. This just in. As previously reported, Sarawak Premier Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg promised that AIRBORNEO will set an attractive price for its Kuching Kuala Lumpur route. Hours ago, AIRBORNEO announced the Sarawak Ku Sayang airfare at RM375, all-inclusive with in-flight meals and luggage for economy class, while business class fares will be at RM736. Bookings can be made starting tomorrow, July 7th, for flights travelling between July 20th, 2026 to March 27th, 2027. Prices will be revised on the website at airborneo.com and the AIRBORNEO app starting tomorrow. Education in Sarawak is getting a major digital upgrade as Premier Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg announced that AI will soon power the MYSEDIDIK app. He says the technology will allow teachers to customize lessons for every student while giving administrators the data they need to sharpen education quality across the board.
State Women, Early Childhood and Community Wellbeing Development Minister Datuk Sri Fatimah Abdullah delivered the premier speech at today's MYSEDIDIK launch. The launch marks a massive leap forward for local classrooms. But with that tech comes a warning. Abang Johari insists that this AI rollout must be driven by strict ethics and responsibility.
As we embrace AI, we must also embrace responsibility. Our children must learn not only how to use technology, but also how to use it wisely. Ni dari kecil lagi. They must understand that AI should complement human thinking, not replace it. By introducing responsible AI from an early age, supported by strong safeguards on privacy, ethics, and child protection, we are preparing a generation that is technologically capable, intellectually curious, and guided by strong values. This is the future we envision for Sarawak.
Abang Johari adds that Sarawak is also integrating MYSEDIDIK with the National Child Data Centre, teaming up with University Pendidikan Sultan Idris and the Welfare Department to expand its reach. To lock it all down, the entire database is being migrated to the Sarawak Information System Sdn Berhad, or SIANS, reflecting the government's push to secure state data sovereignty and build public trust.
It is official. TVS has clutched yet another collaboration partner for cooperation in content development, distribution and media-related programs. Earlier this year, TVS signed an MOU with Australia's ABC, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, and was formalised in a ceremony in Kuala Lumpur earlier today. Speaking at the event, ABC Australia's Head of International Services, Corporate Partnerships and Development Division, Claire M. Gorman, says the agreement provides a framework for program sharing, digital distribution and other collaborative initiatives between the two public broadcasters.
So we look forward to telling stories about what life is like amongst the different communities in Sarawak, or what people in Sarawak value and how they see the world. I think that's a great strength and something that is just endlessly fascinating.
On content exchange, ABC will be curating content produced by TVS to be broadcast across all of its key platforms in the Asia-Pacific region. Claire was speaking after a bilateral dialogue session with TVS, which was also attended by TVS CEO Kushairi Abang. Collaboration with regional media partners, Claire adds, forms a key part of ABC's strategy to strengthen cross-border broadcasting partnerships.
We live in such a fascinating part of the world with so many amazing differences, but underlying all of that is our common humanity. So we look forward to telling stories about what life is like amongst the different communities in Sarawak, or what people in Sarawak value and how they see the world.
Established in 1932, ABC is Australia's national public broadcaster, operating television, radio and digital platforms with audiences across Australia, the Asia-Pacific region and international markets. The collaboration between ABC Australia and TVS is expected to strengthen the sharing of best practices in journalistic ethics and improve the quality of news production and media content.
At the same time, ABC Australia has reaffirmed its commitment to credibility, integrity and public trust across all of its media platforms. Claire says the organization operates under strict editorial policies and standards to ensure all content meets the highest levels of professionalism. These include accuracy, fairness, diversity of perspectives, protection of privacy, and the public interest in all reporting and content production.
So that's been one of the things that the ABC has always done across the whole of its history. It's had these standards. It does a lot. We do a lot of training in those standards. So whether you're on digital or a linear channel, TV or radio, whether you're doing social content, those standards have to be adhered to at all times.
She adds that quality content production in an increasingly complex era requires strong collaboration between media organizations through content sharing. Hence, the collaboration with TVS can open up a broader audience perspective and raise awareness of the diversity and variety of content offered.
With countless numbers still buried under the rubble, many are either unconscious or too weak to shout. Silence has therefore become a crucial life-saving tool for rescue teams following the earthquake in Venezuela. Every 5 minutes, they raise their fists, ordering all engines to be cut to be able to hear even the slightest signs of life. RT's Andres Fernandez Sanchez reports from the country's most devastated state.
As time goes on, silence becomes a key tool in the search for survivors. In areas like La Guaira, the hardest hit by the June 24th earthquakes, rescuers and volunteers raise their fists and shout "silence" to stop traffic and heavy machinery, trying to hear any signs of life beneath the rubble.
Silence is key to detecting any signs of life. Therefore, at a certain stage of the operation, it is essential to maintain silence, remain calm, and pay attention to every detail. The lighting is also important, and infrared drones have also played a crucial role.
Walking through the area, we meet Josilis, a woman who, despite her fatigue, has become one of the volunteers standing at the highest and safest point, raising her fist and calling for silence whenever necessary for the search team. Every time the noise dies down, she feels hope.
You feel like you'll have more opportunities. I don't know how to tell you this.
There's hope in every silence.
Exactly.
She lost her mother and nephew. Although they were trapped under rubble and survived the earthquake, they died minutes later in gas explosions. Now she hopes to find her father and her niece's boyfriend.
Everyone is working together. We are striving for one goal, to find our loved ones. I feel joy, and I never thought that I could mobilize so many people, that I could do this and stand here, sharing this enormous loss. There's a song, I don't know where a girl told me it, but we all learn from our mistakes. We're moving in the right direction.
The first few days, it was just shouting. Now it's an international technique that's become commonplace. With one signal, everyone knows their contribution is silence at these crucial moments.
We learned about this yesterday from the French because usually we would all shout for silence. But it turns out it's not done that way. It's done automatically. People should turn off their motorcycles, all their engines to save fuel. And right now, as I'm talking to you, I would be doing the same thing they're doing. Look, the chain, look, let's hook up this slab.
The search for survivors is a race against time, where every sound can mean the difference between life and death, and where silence becomes the rescuer's most important ally in hearing these signs of hope.
Silence is crucial because there are people who at this very moment may still be alive. Despite their screams, fatigue and hunger, they are showing signs of life, even if only audible ones. It's essential to maintain silence so we can hear them. Even with that barely perceptible rasp in their voice, we can hear them and understand that there's someone alive out there and there's a chance to save them.
Search and rescue operations never stop. Every 5 minutes or so, a minute of silence is called to listen for sounds inside under the floodlights. If there's still life, it's a race against time not only for rescue organizations, but also for Venezuelans who, armed with gloves and shovels, continue to search for their loved ones.
Right, Gaza's administration will be taken over by the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza NCAG, following the dissolution of its emergency committee and the resignation of its acting chairman, Ali Shaath. He is set to head the NCAG, an organization founded under U.S. President Donald Trump's peace plan. NCAG describes itself as a non-political body responsible for managing Gaza's daily civil affairs. Its members are mainly composed of Palestinian national figures and is operating from Cairo since mid-January, but has not yet begun carrying out its duties from inside the Gaza Strip.
In a statement, the Gaza Government Media Office says it had completed the administrative and legal arrangements necessary for the handover of the governmental system in Gaza. Preparations had been presented to a national team representing Palestinian factions and political forces, the Higher Committee of Clans and Tribes, and civil society organizations in the presence of a UN observer. Hamas and other Palestinian factions have held several rounds of talks in Cairo with mediators to narrow differences, particularly over the second phase of the Gaza ceasefire that includes the group's disarmament. The first phase of the Gaza ceasefire involved the release of the last Israeli hostages held by Hamas in exchange for Palestinians detained by Israel. The transition to the second phase, which was to involve Hamas's disarmament and a gradual withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza, has been stalled for months. Israeli forces have actually expanded their presence in the territory in recent months, taking control of nearly 70%.
Back in Malaysia, the ringgit closed lower against the US dollar on Monday as investors return to the greenback following its recent pullback after a weaker than expected US June employment report. Investors also remain cautious ahead of the release of the US Federal Reserve's June meeting minutes this week, said Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad Chief Economist Dr. Muhammad Afzanizam Abdul Rashid. At 6 p.m. today, the local currency eased to between 4.0825 and 4.0875 against the US dollar from between 4.0690 and 4.0735 at Friday's close. Meanwhile, Deputy Prime Minister Dato' Amar Fadilah Yusof says the next generation must step up to lead ASEAN using education and cross-cultural collaboration to shape the region's future. Speaking at the 2026 ATNI International Students' Conference in Kuala Lumpur, he stressed that platforms like that are vital to forging globally minded, principled youth ready for an interconnected world.
It depends on the quality of its human capital. Individuals who can think critically, communicate effectively, and adapt to change and collaborate across cultures and borders. Today, we are not merely gathering students from different schools and countries. We are bringing together a generation that will shape the future of ASEAN and the world. These young people will one day become community leaders, scientists, entrepreneurs, educators, professionals, and policymakers who will determine the direction of their respective nations. For this region, opportunities for intellectual discourse.
Fadilah adds that open dialogue with diverse peers is crucial to forging global minds that remain anchored in local values. He also said that as ASEAN grows more interconnected, the younger generation bears the responsibility of cementing regional ties through mutual trust and respect.
I'm Yusuf Shukri. Good night. Assalamualaikum.